Sounds like a plan.
Right?
Yep. I'm gonna go right into this your show right now.
Hmm.
It's on YouTube, so I can go with like, "Don't start, Santa Riga. Don't."
Good. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Country Boy Cryptid. It's me, Chris Deems. Um, well, I want to welcome tonight Sir Bryan Bowden. Right, Bowden?
Bowden, Bowden down south, Bowden up north. It's all the same.
Well, we had a coach. We had Coach Bowden here at WVU, and we always
Yeah,
said
well,
Bowden.
that's related somewhere there. That they're
Uh huh.
Yeah, I think that same coach related to Bobby, who's down
Yeah.
south.
Uh
So
huh.
yeah, I believe it is it's a relative, but a distant like kind of relative.
Uh
And
huh.
depending on, I know when you get down south, you guys take your football real serious.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
to Texas, and like no joke serious, like people are getting shot at type of stuff. So I don't know if you like the coach or not, but I'm just don't shoot me.
Oh, we loved him. We wish he'd have stayed, but they did something stupid and let him go.
They do that all the time. I mean, all the time.
They
So
do.
yeah, well, stuff happens.
Now
So
we got the worst coach in the world coaching the WVU Mountaineers. It's disgusting.
Tennessee, good time. Gotta get over. I gotta get into Tennessee. I just passed through it at one point, and then but I want to go there. One of my buddies owns a place in Nashville called the Bottle Cap,
Hmm.
and it looks real good. He also owns part of the Tin Roof. I don't know if you guys know that cafe, cantina, whatever.
No, I live in West Virginia.
Yeah, well, I've been through West Virginia. Actually, I came
Yeah.
back from a Bigfoot conference up in PA. It was a Bigfoot camping weekend,
Uh huh.
and I mean, like, there's absolutely nothing in Pennsylvania, folks. You just keep driving. It's like a deer and roadkill apocalypse all the way across the state, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we did a camping weekend. It was really fantastic. It was great. Eric Galtman used to do that all the time. He's not. I don't know if he's doing it anymore. But it's just when you're driving through the states like Pennsylvania and West Virginia, you get that rural aspect of it. You really can understand that when you're on a highway or an interstate in through some of these places, that these cryptids that we all love and talk about, they literally could be standing no more than 5 feet from the roadway, and you would never see them. It's so dense, it's so thick, it's dark, it's scary. It's all that in a bag of chips, you know.
Hmm.
But yeah, I went through. They took me some, road, and I was like, oh my god, I'm in West Virginia. So it's beautiful country, beautiful people, moonshine. I'm just going to throw it out at you.
Oh, it happens.
No, it's great. I mean, one of the things I always wanted to do, and I'm going to drag Al to it because I just drag him into anything, and he's in there. I want to go, and it's going to be difficult because of the illegality of this stuff. But I'd like to make arrangements to talk to some of the guys that are shiners, and I
Hmm.
want to hear their wood booger stories and stuff that they've seen, because I know they've seen a ton of different things.
I guarantee you they've seen stuff because they're out there in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere. There's been some strange stuff happen to them.
And I mean, like if you studied, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, whatever you want, even Dogman, they love the mash. They love, the apples. They love the mash. There's like that intoxication factor. I mean, what guy doesn't? Every once in a while you take a little sip. You
Oh yeah.
know, yeah. Um, so I'm talking about even these guys, not because they were drinking, seeing things. They're just doing their product, making their brand, and coming up on their still that they hid, but it's been like infiltrated by, like, oh damn, it's been whatever,
Yeah.
infiltrated by one of these creatures, which would be
Yeah.
crazy with one Bigfoot, huh?
They've seen stuff though.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
I
it's
mean,
just being out there.
and there's like it's really interesting. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not the same woods, but I spent a lot of years in the Berkshires, summer camps up there, but I mean, I knew the woods. That's where we used to go and hang out. And it wasn't until when I was talking to Al a bunch of years back, I had an encounter in my summer camp in the 70s, late 70s, and didn't register. I remember everything. I got a photographic memory, and it didn't register because I grew up with Leonard Nimoy and In Search Of. Remember that show? And then like everything was the Pacific Northwest. Then no one ever talked about Bigfoot on the East Coast. Nobody. You know, it was so rare. So I didn't think, well, why would it be a Bigfoot here? But when I was about 10, 11 years old, 3 o'clock in the morning, this giant head, like 3 feet wide, is in my window by my feet. Like no more than, seriously, I would go so far to say he's no more than 2 inches from where my feet is in this 3 foot by 3 foot window, which is 7 feet off the ground, mind you. And I'm seeing this big giant thing in there, and it's in the shadow, and you can smell that skunk and like a little bit of like another, like almost like something dying odor on the whole thing. And I just froze. I had to pee. And I just froze. I wouldn't move. And then after an hour, my bladder like, dude, either you're gonna pee on the kid below you or you got the bathroom. And I was contemplating peeing on the kid below me, Billy Carmen. You know, I mean, I'm not moving. Let him be like, hey, what's it moving? But where I was, there was a door close by. If we had a racket near me, you know, it could have been like really, really dangerous. But I slowly pulled my feet back. I slid down so he didn't see me. Did that army crawl underneath all these beds. Didn't see him after that. And, you know, that was a Bigfoot. And then what I did was I researched. We were talking because Al, which has been on, you know, he talked about his Florida experience.
Yeah.
With skunk ape, you know, great encounter. You know, like, wow, what a great encounter. You see a skunk ape almost flip over a cop car, right?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
But so I started looking back and thinking back now, knowing what I know. And I just did a quick search and I said, you know, Bigfoot sightings, this specific area. And like, lo and behold, the same summer, 3 sightings. See, where the property was, to the right of it was a lake, like a reservoir, right? No more than 200 yards next to the property, right? And then behind this mountain area, they had like 280 acres. So, but on the other end of the mountain area, there's like this other road that goes down and it becomes a lover's lane. There was a Bigfoot sighting at that lover's lane, and there were 2 of them on the road right next to my summer camp. So, you know, I was like, this is legit, right? Now let's fast forward a bunch of years. My daughter went there. The last year she went there was 1, 2, maybe 3 years ago. And it's not the same camp. It's owned by new people. They're really nice people. And they have this thing. They do a torch lighting ceremony at the end of camp up in this area that used to be like, it's in the woods. We used to have horses there. And I joked around, you know, just joking around, like, so you see Bigfoot? She goes, yeah, I did. I said, oh, come on. I know you're playing with Dad, right? He goes, no, I did. We were at this torch ceremony. And I saw, you know, there was a big campfire there. And I saw this thing peek up behind the tree a couple of times. I said, so you saw a Bigfoot? I said, how tall is it? She told me. She said, it was much taller than you. It had hair all over it and it just kept peeking out and looking at us. And then whenever they brought the light closer to that area, it would go back behind the tree.
Wow.
And yeah. I mean, we do have them up there. So I'm planning on dragging Al back up to my neck of that area right there. And we're going to go hook up with a guy, Chris Reinhardt, who's an amazing researcher as well. And we're going to go take a look what we can find. You know,
that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah. Hi, Al. I'm waiting for you to give me crap, Al. Come on. Underwear questions or something like that. Hello, everybody. But yeah, no, I mean that's you know, that's cool stuff. My favorite out of all this stuff that we investigate, I hate Al because he's the one that got me involved with Dogman. And I'm like, come on, a werewolf. You know, I didn't want to believe it. He goes, you got to listen to it, bro. You got to listen to it. So I started listening. I started hearing these people, and then we started talking about it a little bit. And then I kind of put it out there. You know, if somebody's in the know or whatever, you know, I want to know. I want more information. Confidentiality is 100% guaranteed with us. We don't play around, you know.
Yeah.
And I started getting these weird messages on my phone, text messages, and a number to call. And the text messages were 000 000 000. That was the
What?
caller. Now, I've gotten calls from U.S. Marshals before. It'll say U.S. Marshals and it'll give a number. Okay. So I know that they know what they're doing, but I've been on the, I called them, hello, and they were telling me, you want to know more about this? Like, yeah, I'd really like to know more about it. You're not recording. I'm like, I'm not recording. This is just going for me. It won't be released and no one will be revealed. And you're talking to people that get paid to protect our soldiers on bases globally. But this guy was talking about, being on a team that goes out when they have these type of encounters with this. He goes, it's a werewolf. It's basically a werewolf. 12-footer, they're mean, they're nasty, they're killing machines. And when they broach certain areas of bases, and he does it for Bigfoots too, but he goes, the Bigfoots aren't really that much of a problem unless we have a young or something like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. He goes, but when they do something stupid or they go into the woods and then they kill too many people or something goes nuts, we're tasked to go in there and take them out. And we do that. That's what we do. Some of them we're told capture alive. Some of them, but most of them are like, just take them out, wipe them out.
Yeah.
And you know what? Yes, I know enough about computers and PBX boxes that say you can change that up. Okay. Now you have to be in the know on certain things to know how to present yourself in order to present yourself. So this guy is definitely in the know. That's one. Two, they got more to lose than gain. If they can contact me and they just get, because I don't give my phone number to everybody at all. Right. And you're starting getting texts from people. You want to know more, call this number. You want to know more, call this number. Make sure you use your number. Don't use any one of the other numbers you have. Use that number, this number. And I'm like, whoa. It's unnerving initially because like, okay, why am I on your radar? But they monitor this stuff because they're not allowed to say a damn thing about it. That's why they have the clearance. They have, a career in this. They have 20 plus years. They're not losing their stuff, but every once in a while they tell you when you hit a home run and then they give you the information. And from that point forward, I'm like, oh my God, these things are real. And then of course we see one or two. And that's just that's an eye opener as well.
Right.
On my case, you pee in front of one, like no more than 10 feet. While Al's yelling, get in the car, Bry. I'm going to leave you here. Like, no, you're not going to leave me. Yes, I am. Like, no, you're not. What's up, Shane? Tom? Yeah, they're so that was a little bit of rough night on that one too.
Yeah, Al told that story when he was on my show. He was telling me about that. Yeah, that's a crazy story. I mean,
dude,
you know, it's the longest piss I've ever seen.
It was like Austin freaking Powers, dude. It was like I couldn't, you broke the seal. We were there for hours in the cemetery and I wanted to go. And then it started getting colder and you lock it in and you're like, I can't pee in a cemetery. It's so disrespectful to the dead. Then you get to the car and you're peeing in front of this thing and it just keeps going and going. And he's screaming, get in the car. You can hold it in. I'm like, dude, I can't hold it in. I just freaking released it. But the weird part is when everything started to really click, it was at one point, it was like, bink, 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 like everything was going. And I don't know if he tells you, but where he parked, we're on a 3-foot grade from where this was. Because I actually, when I got out of the car, went down, it's about 3 feet. So this thing was about, I say 20 feet, but Al's like, dude, it was like 10 feet from you. It was really close. There was a big log in front of it. And it was just enough in the shadows. So standing there, it's on 3-foot grade. I'm 6'1". So that makes it 9 feet 1 inches tall. That's how tall I am compared to where this is. This thing sitting on its haunches was as high as my nose. So this thing sitting down is over 8 feet tall. And then once this stuff started clicking in, and I'm like, I knew what I was doing because I grew up with dogs, show dogs, whatever. I know what an alpha does. And, I know what the bitch is. and how they pee in front of you, and that's like, I'm your boss. That's it. And I'm doing this in front of this creature who is ginormous. He's pretty big. It looks like a really, really big dog, with the pointy ears, the whole thing, Marmaduke-ish and whatever. And I'm like, right now, I'm telling this dog that you're my bitch.
Right.
and then once this all happened, then the calculations went into my head of how tall this thing is sitting down, which means it's probably 3 feet taller standing up.
Oh my gosh.
That's when the goosebumps come in, and then it lowered itself, and it kind of disappeared, and the goose flesh comes in. When I get goose flesh, I have other tells, but when I start getting the goose pimples, it's going to get real quick. And Al's still screaming at it, "Get in the car, Bryan!" And I'm like, "Let's go." And I didn't take any machete off. I had a machete in the front, in the back, and I had one on the side. And I think because I had the longs with me, so I didn't have any guns up there. I don't have a license in New York.
Right.
And we don't normally take it. If we have law enforcement with us, they can do whatever they want. They're licensed for it. But the long blade, being the machete, is a lot more respected than the revolver or the shotgun, because with these cryptids, right, there's so much skin and bulk to their chest, be it the bone features, the multiple layers of skin, kind of like a moose, that when you shoot at this thing with a projectile, with a gun, even if it's 308, right, it just gets lodged in there like a bulletproof vest. So it's going to hurt like hell, but it really isn't going to do anything unless you get it to the vitals, like through the side, up the snout, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But if you come up to the same creature and you take a long blade and slice it, it slices like butter, and they know it.
Well, I didn't know that.
Really a threat.
I never thought about that. That
Think
is true.
about
The
that.
machete. Yeah, the machete is sharp,
Right. So it'll slice them right in half, and then they'll split open. See, that's the difference. No one thinks about this. Well, I'll just take out my, 45 and my Desert Eagle. No, dude. No. You're just going to piss the damn thing off. And if you have one in front of you, I guarantee you 99% of the time, you got another one creeping up behind you.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah. There's more than one.
Right. I mean, I've had 3 encounters where that, like distance encounters where that happened. I heard them creeping up to the right. I heard another one coming up from the back. And it was like, we need to go now. And I left. And it was, it would have been an opportune moment for them, but we were wise enough to do it. Yeah. So, yep, those are my pee stories.
Two scary pee stories.
You know what? I mean, if you're going to go, you might as well go and not soil yourself in the same process.
Right.
But, yeah. So, iron works. Iron works better. I saw an iron question from
that was Tom.
Tom,
I hope your dog gets better, man. I hate to hear anything about an animal.
Sorry about the time. I didn't know about that. I want to send prayers, healing, blessings, and recovery out to you as well.
Doesn't iron work better?
I know where he's going with this. Okay, so here's the problem I have with what's going on currently in the cryptid community and paranormal. I'm a God-fearing man. Okay. And I'm also an ordained minister, but I'm a God-fearing man, very spiritual. The new buzz right now is everything's a Nephilim or demon.
Yeah.
And my personal opinion is no, it's not. Okay. Demons are demons. It's no joke. They're not playing games with you. They're not going to pretend to be something else. They invade your entire life. They want your soul and destroy your entire life. That is what they do. Okay.
Yeah.
Nephilim, on the other hand, are the product of a breeding between angels and the daughters of man. Okay. They're giants. They still exist. Some of them, I believe, still exist, and they survived the flood. Now, when God flooded the earth and told Noah to build the ark, he did so to get rid of the blasphemous Nephilim. I'm not going to go into the whole religious Sunday school thing here for everybody.
Yeah.
Did survive it. Okay. And the Nephilim are different sizes. It's, you're talking about something like 10 feet, a 10-footer up to 30 feet. I've heard, according to scriptures and stuff. I mean, they really, really big, and has the powers of both an angel and man. These these creatures that we're talking about with Dogman, with Bigfoot, Mothman, you have to understand something, that before God created the heavens and earth and it was void of light and blah blah blah, there was something here. There are other evil entities that existed on this earth prior to man. And that's where you get into the holy Saint Michael's prayer, to protect us from
Yeah.
all Satan and all evil animals prowling the world seeking the ruin of souls. So you have the Satan factor, the devil, Satan, devil, the demons, because they supported whatever, and Satan, has certain abilities. But you
Yeah.
also have the evil stuff that's been here. So, but the problem is, everybody's like, aliens are now demons or Nephilim. Bigfoot's a Nephilim. And this is just my 2 cents. Okay. But I can't have a conversation with somebody because it just doesn't make sense. You know, things don't, when you have something pure evil, they're not playing with you. The only ones that are pretty nasty and they want us off the earth, man, is the jinn. They will adapt their physical appearance and their actions to replicate things that look like it's demonic or dark or a Bigfoot or some other creature. And then that's when you're like, ooh, demons, demons, demons. No, the jinn want you out of here. Okay. They ruled this earth prior to man. But God said no. Boom, man's there. He's the king, and you got to deal with it. And they never liked it from day one. That's why they're very combative. So if you would have said to me, instead of Nephilim and demons, you said jinn, I'm like, maybe something's impersonating something like that. But in general, I believe Bigfoot, Sasquatch, well, Mothman, and I'll explain that. These creatures are their own individual species. They've been here for a long time, millions, if not since the beginning. I believe they can go interdimensional and become flesh and blood. And that's, that whole process is, they can be physical, but they convert their energy and molecular structure into other forms of energy, light. That's why you see a lot of lights around some of these appearances, like UFOs. They're not pets of the aliens. They have the ability to transform themselves and morph. And then once they get into that energy field, they can then morph into interdimensional. Okay. This is why sometimes they have the ability to cloak. There's certain things you cannot, like on a FLIR, when you see, I mean, I've seen too much evidence of, you see a physical beast of something. It looks like a giant gorilla. And then over time, it starts breaking up into little pieces on a FLIR, and then it disappears and it's gone. Yeah. So, I mean, when people say, well, no way, it has to be Gigantopithecus, I'm like, I was there too, but I had my own couple of experiences, and the only way you can go and do what this creature did is if you can open a portal up, go in, and come out another way. So, and I'm not here to fight or argue with people. Everything is theory. I don't have a Bigfoot in my back pocket. Nobody does. So everybody's theory is a theory, but I studied physics. I studied astrophysics. I studied astronomy. I studied conversion of energy. I didn't go into it because you can't freaking make money at it, So
Right.
you're spending all this money, like, wow, this is really cool and interesting, but I actually have to get a job after this crap, and it all makes sense. I started studying physics when quantum physics just was starting to come out. The string theory, sorry about that, and some other stuff. And now it's expanded. And I thoroughly believe that we are going to get to a point in our lives, and we're going to see it, where you'll be able to go, and those people that were out on an expedition and they have nothing in their video, they'll be able to apply a quantum filter to it visually on a different spectrum, and you'll start seeing things pop up. Ghosts, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, aliens, whatever. And when people say,
That'd
"Well,"
be awesome.
I really do believe it. I was talking to Ron Moorhead about that because he came out with Quantum Bigfoot, I called him up. I'm like, I can't believe you just came out with it. You know, like I'm thankful. I love the book. I love everything. You were 100% spot on. We started talking a little bit, and he's such a sweet guy, one of the best in this. And I said, I've been talking about this for a while, but I just couldn't put it down on paper.
Hmm.
And you did exactly, and I just can't thank you enough for what you did. So actually, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to go see him up in Central Florida. So that should be interesting.
Yeah, I have a question for you, Brian.
Yes, sir.
They say, I've heard the good Bigfoot, and then there's bad Bigfoot. The ones that people have bad encounters. Do you think it's the gin doing that, or
No,
do you think there's just bad? There's good and bad in everything.
there's good people and there's bad people, right?
Right, right.
And there are, you know, as human beings, right? We have some really really nice people. We have really really bad people. Different types of personalities. You have different types of serial killers, right?
Right,
People that commit
exactly.
crimes, and then you have the serial killer that you know gets off on it. I think a lot of the stuff that we go through as human beings, they go through. I think there is a connection a bit to humans, or you know what we could have been, or would have been, or should have been. But I can tell you straight up that most of the time when you get like bad Bigfoot, someone that's really aggressive and just going through things and you know ripping people up or killing people,
Hmm.
something's been done to elicit that response. That's one.
Someone they've
And
shot at him or something like that.
you could have, you know, you could have interrupted him doing something. You could have, you know, came too close to his kids or her kids. You know, um,
Yeah, yeah,
or you can, you know, they have teenage Bigfoots too. And just like remember when you were a teenager, what were you chasing?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't take your eyes or mind off something, right? And then you get married
Right.
and you're like, leave me alone. No,
Yeah.
so, you know, when you want to, and I know this is so graphic, but when you want a piece and you're riled up and you're you know normally used to just taking something, it gets you mean. You know,
Yeah. Like
you
a
know,
buck and rut,
one
like a
hundred
white-tailed
percent.
deer. Yeah. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, look at a look during. I point to moose because they're so freaking dangerous in some
That's what
parts.
I've heard. I've never seen one or nothing like
Oh,
that, but that's
oh,
what I've heard.
when a buck's in a rut, one of those guys, oh, they'll kill you. They will chase you up a tree. They'll knock trees down. I mean, that's love right there, right?
I've heard. Now I don't want to get into that, but I've heard that the moose are like can tell when a woman's on her,
Yep.
monthly time.
All animals know when females are going through ovulation, and
Yeah.
that the monthly time. And it's very interesting. We do have a lot of people. Al's taking out. You know, we love taking women with us on these things because it's the different species of us. You know, it's the female side, but the
Hmm.
potential's there too. There's a smell. It's in every animal. There's like you know that mating you know the musk, whatever it is, and that sometimes helps to draw in an encounter, have a good encounter
Hmm.
with these creatures. But it also, if you get the right one, it can get very aggressive. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where Al was on one of his, you know, interviews with you, but he brought three ladies in, and these things started doing the monkey barks and you know getting excited, and Al had to
Mm.
step up to the plate and say no, you know these are mine. You know,
Wow.
it's just a natural thing. You're talking about a wild, whether you like it or not. You're talking about a wild animal, even if it does
Hmm.
have any humanistic characteristics to it or whatever. It's going to act like a wild animal. Like you can have a dog that's the sweetest thing in the world, but it's still an animal, and
Exactly. Exactly.
boom, right?
Hmm.
So I mean, it gets crazy after a while. So you got to be considerate of it. But yeah, I like when women go on investigation. It's different feel. Some of these creatures just appreciate them more. Like, you know, like, oh, who's that? Yeah.
it, do you seem to have better luck with women, like when you guys are out in the field doing your investigations? Like, do you have more stuff happen while you're out?
There, I think there's sometimes there's a little bit more of a you know it rolls in your favor a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more, but but it depends because a lot of them, we've had people that are coming in there like, oh, I want to have this experience, and then it gets real, and they're like, get me out of here now.
Right.
Changes
Right.
and it changes quickly, and just on an animalistic behavior notice notification, um, my brother had a Rottweiler, okay,
Mm-hmm.
150-pound Rottweiler, and dogs knew. There was one woman that was deathly afraid of my brother's dog and would walk slowly. Bad idea because they sense that they sense certain things taking place within like why don't they like me? What's wrong? Why are they so nervous about me? That's why dogs will get a little bit more aggressive against people when they're nervous about the dog because they sense
Mm-hmm.
fear, and they'll animalistically in play it up, but also curious, like why I'm not doing anything to you. I can only imagine them saying that in their processing.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
same thing happens with like, you know, we have this, it's also the skeptical side of women. They're not always the most positive on these things. Oh, come on, drag me out
Right.
here. It's always a complaint. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, you don't even have skim milk. You know, you know. Some of them are just, whatever. They just don't want to be there. And that negative vibe, just like, you won't get much out of that. But
Yeah.
it's the real factor. We always try. I think, I've tried to get my other half out there or someone I know is female that's into the subject. Because I
Mm-hmm.
want to see the reaction, you know.
Yeah. I'm
Oh, they
still
all
looking
have
to have. I'm looking to have my first encounter one of these days.
oh, you'll go well, be careful going through the woods of West Virginia, but I
Yeah.
would say Appalachian Trail.
Uh huh.
I would start hitting the Appalachian Trail, and if we hear anything in your neck of the woods, we'll let you know and tell you where to go. But just be careful. One
Yeah.
of the things, yeah,
I
yeah, what
want
you
to go up to my parents' farm. It's 30 acres, but it's surrounded by woods. I mean, you can go
that
from
should be a good spot.
quite. And I'm just going to as soon as my back I can get well enough so I can just get in the woods. And I just want to sit there, like Al told me, and play some of that Native American flute music and
Yep,
drums, and just sit there and talk to them.
we've been talking about these for the longest time. Singing bowls, right?
Yeah, yeah, I've seen you talk about them before.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden everybody's talking about singing bowls. I'm not. I don't want to be one of those guys, but you know what? Just give me some credit here. Give Al credit. We've been doing this for a couple of a decade plus,
Oh
more than
yeah.
that, talking about it. But you ramp up the vibration in there, and you go in with when you're going into the woods, just in your mind's eye, just tell them, I just want to have an encounter. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to be hurt. Please just want to know you're here. Can you give me tree knocks, a snort, or something like that? And it may take some time going there, but you know
Yeah.
they're more obliged to help you at that point. Maybe they will give you an encounter, and you'll hear the snort, which is pretty interesting. And especially if they do a whoop next to you and you feel it in your chest, you'll be like, "Oh Lord, that's big." Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you have, 30 acres is great. Al, road trip. We're going to West Virginia.
there. I mean, I was telling Al about this. There was a map out that Doug Hychek put out
Yep.
just of the forest. West Virginia is 79% forest.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like one of the highest, forested places.
And
It's,
what's
I
right
think
next to it?
I think that's why Maine, like it's 89%. I think it's the most.
I used to go up to Maine because I had family up in Portland area, but we go.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love Maine, and we stayed at a place in the woods, out of Freeport called Maine Idol. So you rent these little cabins, have a little
Mm-hmm.
kitchenette and whatever in there. And I know all this stuff, and it's actually pretty close to. There was a strange canine that was almost blue in color, bluish black, very odd, that was discovered dead close by. Um, and it just didn't fit any type of other type of animal. They didn't know what it was. Not even coy wolf. But
Uh-huh.
I've been in there, and I was, it's late at night, it's very dark, and if you've ever been in a cabin in the woods and you have light on in the cabin, you can have someone standing right at the glass with their nose pressed against it, and you would never know they're there, right?
Wow.
So so me knowing all these things, my my wife was like, "Pull that shit down, put that shit down, put that shit." So I would go out in the porch and hang out and look, and you'd hear certain things that are very squatchy. We'll just say it that way. And
Uh-huh.
then and then you would look, and I'd hear some crack-a-lacking going on in the back, woods, and peek my head out, look out the window, and you see like you definitely see eye shine, and it's reddish or amber, and you're like, okay, and you get the feeling you're being watched. And I would never tell my wife that at the time, but yeah, Maine's pretty tight, like with the ruralness.
Mm-hmm.
West Virginia, PA, the insane one is for some reason I don't know how many people you got here from Ohio, but there's a ton of like there's a the Ohio grassman is one of the more aggressive ones because they don't get to see people as much. They're
Uh-huh.
very, very aggressive, this Bigfoot. But that too, that state has a ton of paranormal people in there. I mean, I don't know what the hell's in the water in Ohio, but it's weird, you know?
I, I've been there and just driving up the interstate through there,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of cornfields, but I mean they're massive and they're surrounded by woods. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
It'd probably be the perfect place for them to kill a deer, raccoon, possums. I mean, you got cornfields, you're going to get all kinds of different animals in there.
Yeah. It's there's plenty of food out for these creatures. When people say, well, how do they exist? There's so many cities. I'm like, there's more rural areas than you think. We gotta get these city folk out of the mindset that everything revolves around the city. It doesn't.
Right,
This country is very rural for what it is. I mean, hell, Montana alone, I mean, it's not a joke. And these creatures can easily exist there in thousands at a clip. And on top of that, you know, you have areas throughout the country, be it ley lines or things that intersect. We don't know what happens, what's coming to us interdimensionally, or a different timeline or different zone. You get all that missing 411 stuff David's been doing, and you
that blows my mind. Some of the stuff he's come up with. Whoa.
well, I was I mean, when you're a UFO guy too, like Al and I are, and you're one of the first things on my list is UFOs and human mutilations. I do. I'm a UFO guy. I'm an all guy, but when these people go missing, UFO, they've been abducted. Or the only other thing again is a portal. So you could have
Hmm.
something that's interdimensional, and when you're talking about these Bigfoots that are nasty, some of them will kill you and eat you. I mean, they're not just vegetarians.
Right, right,
They eat
right,
meat and they like it, and they rip the heads off of the deers to get it.
right.
So, right. So, you know, so you don't know what you're getting. You can get something that it sees something like, oh, I want to taste that. Bring them in, eat them, leave their bones back, and what have you. You know, it's
Yeah.
craziness.
The Gugway's known for that, right?
Yeah, it's a nasty little bastard. Um,
That's the one they call a face eater, right?
yeah, it's kind of like you know what it reminds me of. Um, I'm sure most of you guys have watched the Supernatural, the Winchesters.
Yeah, I like that show.
Yeah, I love that show. But at the end when the Leviathan come and their face is just like this, like these sharp teeth. That's what I always think of with
Yeah,
Dugway. Yeah,
yeah.
like it's just gonna open up and just eat you. My luck.
Right. Now, speaking of UFOs, I have had uh, a UAP. I almost say I don't know UFO.
They're all
One
UFOs. UAP is just fashionable now.
this yeah UFO. This happened probably 15, 20 years ago. I
Okay.
can't put a date on it. It was deer season because I was still living with my parents. I opened the back door just to see if there's any deer in the backyard. You know what I mean? So I know where to go in the morning. And I happen to look, and it's about 400 yards to my neighbor's, flat, straight. And then he's got a ridge that goes up. And on the top of the ridge, there was a round light. I mean, like that,
Yep.
And it was setting still. So I said, okay, that's a star. I kept my eye on it, though. Then all at once, this thing just like zoom, zoom. I mean, there's no way an airplane could move that quick.
Right.
And I wish I could get, me and the neighbor don't get along now, but we took video of it. He jumped in his truck and he drove up and got me and my dad. And then I sat in the back, stood in the back of the truck and videotaped
Right.
the thing.
Yep.
That's my little swim Mila. Or,
That's mine.
yeah, Ellie, I'm sorry.
I got mine.
Hello.
Hello.
I always sing,
I got mine about
I'm a
11.
little mouse.
Yeah,
With
that
you on that.
is that the picture? Is she the one in the picture that
Both of
you
them.
got
Both of one's 15, one's 11.
got the
These are
fairy?
mine.
You can
Oh,
you can
with
you
the
can see
fairy?
it. Yes,
They-
that's
the little
awesome.
one- yeah, the little one with the fairy. That's a great. That was. If it, I would have sent it to you. I should have sent it to you, and I apologize. But
Oh, that's okay.
during this whole entire event, the last couple of years, we'll just call it an event. My wife's like, we need to get out. We need to get some exercise or whatever. So we bought bicycles because eventually,
Yeah.
but we wanted to get out. We were stuck we had a small apartment. Excuse me. So we went up to this place called Nindam Mountain. Now, Al and I have been up there numerous times. There are these stone chambers that pockmark all the way from New York State, all the way up into New England, up and even to Maine. And they're not just root cellars. There's more to these things than a root cellar. There's alignment locations. There's a bunch of different things. In some places, you can clearly see there were, I'm going to say, sacrificial tables or something was going on here. Be it a human or animals, giving whatever to the gods or whatever they believed in. But this mountain has, you pull up to it, you go up a little bit of a mountain, you park your car. There's a stone chamber right there that they kind of saved, but kids graffitied it a bit. But as you walk up this roadway, it just keeps going up to this mountain. There's a fire tower at the end of it, and it's a long walk. I mean, it just keeps getting it goes from like a 20-foot grade to like a almost a 90 at certain points. And for a fat guy, it's pretty difficult.
I hear you.
We got up there at one point, and the sun was going down, so it's behind the trees a little bit, right? It's getting darker, and we're gonna go up there, and I said to my youngest, I'm like, hey, pose time, whatever. And I took out my P900, and I have a UV filter on it, so I don't get the UV light. I like the polarization type of thing that's going on there. And she stands there in that picture, and she's like posing, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, cool. And I took, whatever. And I looked at it and I said, something's really weird there. What's glowing on her finger? And I figured, oh, maybe it's some kind of lens flare or whatever it is. So what I did was I tried to zoom in on the camera. Couldn't do it. So I downloaded the image to my phone, right here. And lo and behold, there was a fairy on her finger. And let me see if I can pull that up right here.
I've seen the picture. It's
Yeah, I mean, maybe some of your people in the
you can see the actual outline and everything. I mean, it's awesome.
and that was the most important part of the aspect of it. So here, I apologize. So I'm gonna try to put this up here. Well, I don't know if that's gonna work. Hold on. So that's the finger. I know it's a little glare here. Let me see something.
Tilt it up a little bit, Brian. Just there you go.
There you go. I'm gonna tilt it a little bit. That's the finger. And then I have another one where it's a little bit bigger. Let me see if I can get this going on. And then look at that thing. I mean, it looks like a Jiminy Cricket,
It does.
And there's weight to it. There's antennae. it literally looks like something. I mean, like there's a point where it kind of like has these two dots that look like eyes with like a. I'm gonna date myself, folks. Buck Rogers, Tweaky's head had a little bit.
I
Like,
remember that guy.
okay,
Yeah,
it
I
has a little
remember
bit of
that.
that on there, but then it has these little things coming up. It's the weirdest thing.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, of my kids, I love them both. There's something about my youngest and Al, she loves Al. I mean, both of them love him, but Al, forget it. She knows that Al's wrapped around her finger.
Right.
Uncle Al's wrapped around her finger. She's a pisser. There's something more about this kid. I mean, this is the same child when she was 4 years old taking a nap in the car. And I'm sitting there, I thought she was napping. Like 20 minutes later, she said, I was with your grandmother before I came here. So I said, oh, you were?
What?
Oh, and she goes, yes, she's a very nice lady. I said, yeah, she's a very nice lady. She goes, yeah, but she does this strange thing with her mouth. I'm like, okay. And there's no way she'd have known that my grandmother did do something strange with her mouth. She hummed. It was really annoying, actually. And I told her, why are you doing that? This girl's never met her. My grandmother died a decade earlier. Easy.
Whoa.
So I'm saying, like, for her to have a fairy on her finger at this point, it's like, yep, par for the course. This is the kid. Yeah. So
she's got some kind of, she can see things or hear things that we can't. Like
your little one can do the same. She can see and hear too.
She freaks me out sometimes. I won't lie. Yeah.
Well, that's because, first of all, they use both sides of their brains.
Mm-hmm.
That's how women use both hemispheres more so than men. Unless you're quantitative or artistic or whatever, then you use both sides. That's why a lot of people who are gifted are female. Or the people that are male that are gifted they're very quantitative. They can do math really quick. They're into the sciences. There's a lot of different things as well. And they pick up on stuff because it's an empty sponge for them. They see all these crazy things that's going on. And if you're a parent, oh, there's nobody under the bed. Well, guess what? There very well could be somebody under the bed. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean they're not there. So my wife she's good, but I've dealt with them on a different basis because I know my oldest has seen things, and the youngest has definitely seen stuff. She still checks under her bed every night. Yeah, she's crazy. Like, she sleeps with a baseball bat in her bed. She's been doing this since she's 11 now. She's been doing it since she's 8. She's nuts, but she doesn't want to have she's scared, and she has every right to be. Matter of fact, there was one night we were down here. We're in a new place. We're in Florida right now, but I'll be back up just like May. I'm coming back up. I'm going to do some work, and I'm dragging Al out. Al's coming out.
Al's coming out, huh?
Well, we're freaking coming out. We're going to be doing a lot of big squatching and UFOing and whatever, and eating some good food. Yeah, he did. He gave my youngest a fart finger that you pull it, and she loves it. She can't find it right now. She goes, Al, I can't find the fart finger. Yep. Brian needs a gold chain with that shirt. Yeah, thank you. It's roses on the shirt. I don't need a gold chain right now.
Yeah, we've had since I met my well, not to say my wife. We've been together forever, but we've had paranormal stuff happen to us. Like one night when we first got together, she took care of her niece. She was little. And she had a toy in my old lady's room. And I was dead asleep. We was both dead asleep, and this machine kicks on.
Oh,
and she wakes me up. She's like, "Do you hear that?" I was like, "Yeah." And she gets up out of bed, and she picks this toy up. It will not stop. She opens the the battery case.
Yep, no batteries, right?
There's no batteries in there.
Burn
and
it.
Then not. I'll have to send you pictures, but not long ago, we were sitting on a couch just watching TV. Yeah. She gets 3 scratches on her chest.
3
like
scratches on the chest. That's somebody
like
wants.
someone
Yeah.
went like that, you know. And she was like, "Do you see this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." What'd you do, scratch? I thought maybe
How
my
long have you
little
been in that house
this
prior to
this
the
place where
scratching?
we've only been here 5 years. This has always happened since I've been with her. Little things, you know.
Oh,
Just
so it's so
it's been
there
an
could be
ongoing thing.
right. It could be something attached to her, family heirloom or family member that's just being a part of the expression of prick.
Yeah,
Sometimes they do that. They want to scare you, like whatever. You had a stupid argument, and that's all they remembered.
yeah.
But
But
nothing
she
like salting your property.
right. Well, she grew up in a house in Fairmont, West Virginia, that was an old railroad depot at one time.
Ooh.
I'm thinking, I bet you she probably picked something up there. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's a prop. See, they have these things called jumpers,
Uh
right?
huh.
It happens to a lot of people, especially when they go on a paranormal investigation. They go there, think they're having fun, yay! And the spirit goes, "Ooh, I can get to this one," and they jump on you and they attach them to you.
Yeah. Whoa, you there, Brian? We lost Brian. He'll be back here in a minute, I'm sure. Uh oh. There, he's coming back.
Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. We just lost you
Everybody's,
for a minute
everybody's freaking me out now. No, um,
there.
but it's some people want to be pricks about it, but a jumper is somebody that has an opportunity. You may be open, you may not be feeling well, and it's a break in your armor, and they can attach to you, or you're one of those I believe type of people or whatever it is, and you
Hmm.
give them an opportunity to jump into you and attach to leave wherever they are, and it happens a lot. Mr. Wonderful in there, the Squatch Father. um, we were on that investigation prior to the Dogman incident, and he had a look on his face, and I knew that wasn't Al. Something's up. He's like, "No, I'm fine." I'm like, "No, no, we need to go. We're done." And then you have to bless yourself, and then you have to put sage on and stuff like that. So it's an opportunity. They do have it, but it could be something very innocent. It could go into another. Maybe your wife had a doll or some heirloom. Like
Hmm.
I don't like with watches and stuff and rings. I have some jewelry from people, great, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And depending, and you want to kind of wear it, but I've had a watch, and when you wear it, shit just goes wrong the whole day. And I'm like, I don't want to wear this watch anymore. And energy attaches to things, and it can attach to people. So, they could just be in your house right now trying to scare the hell out of you. But if you really want to do something about it, I would sage, and you put the big boy pants on. So you're not allowed here. There's nothing but love and light in this house, and whatever,
Yeah.
Jesus, God, or
We
whoever you believe in.
we did that. We did that after she got scratched, and we haven't had, knock on wood, any more trouble.
Right. But don't just do it once. Do it once a month. Pick the day, and you got to act like get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. See, what's really interesting is because I see these things as well. I can see it. I do remote viewing. I can see, and as you start using all these abilities, you get more abilities. The worst is clear audio. I can have conversations with the dead, and sometimes I hear them, but I also just understand. I can see them and I can hear them. It's really, really buggy because that happened when one of my best friends, died last year. I'm like, oh man, I can't believe you're dead. I hope you're all right. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm all right. I mean, like, Rob, okay, I'm just making this up. No, you're not. We're having a conversation right now.
Oh wow.
Which is really weird. It's kind of cool, but it's like weird. Whatever. So you need to go back into your home and put it out there saying, get the F out of my house. You're not allowed here. Nothing but love and light in this house. And you want to get a preacher out there, a preacher man, someone you trust that really is a preacher, because, and I don't mean any disrespect to people, but what has happened to the church,
Yeah, I know.
is
Yeah.
really, it's whatever. You make sure that it is a man of God, and it doesn't have to necessarily be, one side. It could be a holy man from a local tribe or something that really believes in what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, but
Uh,
yeah, I would definitely do that. But also, because you have kids, young kids there,
mm-hmm.
they bring them in too. Think of it this way. So you got earth, heaven, hell, right? You got three
Yeah.
levels. In between each is the ether. Think of it as walking into a room that's pitch black and just close the door. You're standing in a room pitch black, close the door. Okay. You don't
Mm-hmm.
know where the hell you are. You're looking around like, oh God, where am I? You hear some noises here and there, but you can't. And every time you move or something, you bump into something. And then out of nowhere, you see this little pin of light. And it starts getting bigger, right? And then you see another pin of light in the distance and another one. Little ones. Not enough to light up where you are, but enough to draw your attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
Those little pins of light are kids because
Whoa.
they're connected to they can see the other side. They're connected to this vibrationally. So you're dead and you're going towards that pin of light, not knowing what it is, right?
Right.
And you go to it. Now there are some people that get into that ether. They don't go into the light when they first die, or they're not received by family or friends or someone to bring them into heaven. So they kind of get stuck there because it's scary. Like, what's going on? I'm scared, right?
Yeah.
And there are other people that purposely stay there because they just don't want to go to heaven or hell. They know what their consequences are, so they'll stay in the ether there. And those are the ones that cause a lot of crap, for
Mm-hmm.
people. But that's what it's like. So they see your toy or they see your child, they draw some energy off them, they come into your house like, ooh, this looks like a nice place I can fuck around with, pardon the
Yeah.
French. And that's what you do. And that's why you got to be, get out.
Yeah.
I mean, in my apartment building is so active. And the coolest thing is my wife's seen it a couple of times too. So just validates what I'm saying. But whenever I have these issues or whatever, and I'm second guessing myself, like, okay, am I going crazy? Am I reliving an acid trip from like the 80s? Which I'm not, and I'm like, So I'll call Al up, and Al's like, yeah, sure. Go tell him. Because it's not him telling him, but it's me telling him. Whatever. So, so I become the lunatic at one point, but I see them. I had a being. I'm sitting in my apartment. It's a large 1-bedroom apartment. I converted to 2 just to live in until we got the hell out. So I'm sitting. I'm a night owl. I can't sleep. I worry. I have daughters. I worry way too much about everybody.
Right.
I'm sitting there and I can see it. I'm watching the TV straight ahead, and I can see it like in the peripheral, something that's moving very slowly, purposely slowly, and then hides behind the suitcase we have. And without missing a beat, I go, you don't have to hide. I've seen you. You just keep going. And it kind of peeks up. I said, yeah, you can go. I see these things all the time. There was another time. This was the coolest thing out of all of them. Oh, this is so weird, but I'm going to say it anyhow. I'm in my bathroom doing whatever, doing my business. And I get this bright light, like a flash goes off. Like, you remember the old flashes on cameras, like the cube?
Yeah, I remember that.
Like a flash goes off. It draws my attention. I look down to the floor, and this pin of light is there, and it's blue and white. And then it opens up and starts starring like the Star of Bethlehem, like the exaggerated. And the next thing that happens is I want to say it's like a little person, not like a gnome or anything. It's something small, peeks its head out, sees me, and then goes back in, and the whole thing closes up. The whole thing lasts about 3 seconds. And I'm sitting there and going, what the hell did my wife put in this food tonight? I'm like, what kind of mushrooms did you use, honey? Bizarre, totally bizarre. And I told him about it, and he laughed at my ass. And but that happens. You know what? When you're connected to these things, when you do it, like Al and I have been doing this for so long. I used to joke around about vibrations. Everybody, come on, everybody, let's vibrate. I'm like, yeah, I'll vibrate. I don't like guided whatever.
Yeah,
I have to find it myself. I have my own answers, and I don't want to be. My hand doesn't need to be held for this. Some people do, and I have no problem with it. But I don't hold my hands.
Right.
When you start out in this and you're like, you're excited and you're giddy, and then you have these great days where you kind of get like cool little things, and the bad days like, this sucks, there's nobody out there, whatever. Once you start vibrating at a higher frequency, okay, things start opening up for you. Everything starts opening up to you. Little bits and pieces here start pulling in. And then you start seeing these things. And then you start feeling these things. And then what happens is it allows you to exercise your own gifts that God gave you. God made man in his image. Part of making man in his image is we have abilities that we're allowed to use. You don't need to go see a psychic technically. I'll tell you, a lot of them are terrible. There are some really great ones. And if you want to know, I'll give you a couple of people you can go to that are off the chart, great, crazy. But because you have the third eye, you have a connection from your brain, body, mind, heart, soul. If you vibrate at a higher frequency, like all the people that have come before us trying to teach us, Buddha, Jesus, even Muhammad did it, whatever, all these prophets and these messengers, they're telling you God is there. You can talk to your father anytime you want. Just vibrate at a higher frequency. Love people. It's really weird. And, you always like, you have the tough guy thing. But once you start vibrating a higher frequency, you don't hold grudges as much. You don't let things get to you as much. And you just keep going higher and higher and higher. And the things you can do, the healing processes, the encounters you can have both on ghosts and cryptids and, really scary shit, and non-stuff. It's really weird. So I would just recommend use your own abilities, decalcify your third eye. You can take iodine for that. Try to meditate. It's really, I always hated the guy that said it to us when we did it, but it's whatever works for you to kind of bring you in and just sit there for 5 minutes. I use something called binaural beats, and they help me to, you just put the headphones on. It's like, it's all these different waves, different frequencies. And some of them are good for migraine. Some of them are good for astral projection. Some of the, whatever. If that gets you going and gets you to sit there for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, you'll notice a big difference in everything. You'll be able to heal yourself. That's why with your back as well, try a little meditation on it. Just, and what you want to do is you want to picture yourself being surrounded by the white golden light of God. And once you start doing this, and your body will, everything will go up. Your pH levels go up. Your blood changes a tad bit for the better. And you just start feeling better. And then you start having these really cool experiences. I guess that, to make it a little bit easy for everybody, it's kind of like what the force principle would be when you're studying as a Jedi. This is innate within you. And the more you use it and practice, controlling yourself, the better your life is going to be. And I know how difficult it is, people. Don't get me wrong. When pardon the expression, when the shit's hitting the fan and life is just like, they didn't give you a couple of lemons. They dumped a pallet, 10 pallets on you. It's hard to think positive, but once you start thinking positive and you go that route, you're not going to have those bad days as much anymore. I was mentioning Native American flute music. Yes. Well, at least Al likes the skin flute. Oh, gotcha. That was for the underwear comment, by the way, buddy.
So when you're
sorry,
to say get on YouTube or whatever, and what about like the monks chanting? Does that help? Like
well, it does for them. That's basically meditation in a different format. But I think it's kind of fun, but I don't do it. When I do stuff like when I remote view, try to help people out, or doing that, I literally need to bring myself down. I need to get rid of the outside of the day, because all these distractions and stuff, he's going to kill me, by the way. All these distractions, I better meditate right now before I'm going to be dead. That interferes with you setting yourself up. So I try to think of certain things, if the chants help you to feel better. I noticed in growing up, I love music. I play music, I write music, I sing music. My life was better when there was more music in it. I listen to everything, especially blues, country, Southern rock, you name it. Right. rock and roll, whatever.
Yeah.
And
I feel better when I listen to music.
yeah,
Like I just put
you know,
my headphones on and just like zone out.
you just because your vibration changes, it's just resonating with you. Like, yeah, like be it Hendrix or Free or Bad
Yeah.
Co or whatever it is, and it's that's the difference. Notice the difference, and I'm not picking on people again too, but when Southern rock, rock and roll, blues, rockabilly, country, it has a certain feel and vibe to it.
Hmm.
And some of the new stuff with their rap country, whatever,
Yeah.
it's okay, but it's so much totally different. People like, yeah, they're talking about rap and whatever it is. It's not as positive as the other music. I don't know. It doesn't make you feel good, you know.
No. No. I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
And once you start, I mean, like, there's nothing like hearing a great song and you just close your eyes and everything falls away. And if you can get into that moment, that's the meditation moment. That's where it all kicks in. Fred Sanford. I'm coming, Elizabeth. I'm coming to join you. Yes.
But I've noticed that because the other day I was just sitting here, the kids was being good, the old lady was home watching. I just like turned on YouTube. I grew up. I'm younger than you, so I was doing Guns N' Roses, stuff
I,
from the
I had Guns N'
'80s.
Roses. I'm not super old just yet. I don't think. I don't.
I like the '70s, Led Zeppelin, Hendrix, all them guys.
I was,
I love guitar music, like
yeah.
that power ballad stuff.
I was in a heavy metal band, so yeah. Kiss,
Yeah.
yeah, like yeah, we used to do
Oh
that.
yeah, Kiss, awesome band. Yeah.
And I know Guns N' Roses. I mean, I grew up in the '80s for the most part with like music wise. So I was in a new age band, a heavy metal band, and then we had some kind of like weird, kind of like rock and roll, but whatever it was. I listened to everything. That's why, like when I put together, remember those old tapes we used to put together? You put a
Oh yeah,
mixtape,
we said
whatever.
yeah.
So you'll get like you'll get something like Guns N' Roses, Sweet Child of Mine, and
Oh
then
yeah.
it'll segue into like some comedy bit or whatever. You'll hear like
Hmm.
some weird sound bite, and then it'll go into another like Metallica or
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin or something like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's just, I mean, I like the Native American flute music that Al talks about too.
Uh huh.
And I love going to I love powwows. It's just a vibe about it. Even these people have been so screwed over and they're
Right.
still chanting and there's a vibe about it. And I'll tell you, I did a sweat lodge once at up in upstate New York. My teacher in school had friends and they were doing a sweat lodge. And a sweat lodge is just you go in this big like this tent and they just keep pouring steam on there and it's drums and steam and drums and steam, no water, drum, and it gets hotter and hotter. And basically you have a delusional hallucination. You have a spirit journey and you're just so all over the place and a cleansing, and the stuff you start seeing is just like, oh my God, you have a vision quest.
Yeah.
And then when you come out of it, the cool air hits you and you just like vomit because you're purging all that crap in your body. And it's not the most pleasing experience at that point, but when you reflect on what you've seen and what you've experienced, you're like, okay, I get it. It's so hard to do it now. I mean, people would
Yeah.
freak out, but if you ever get a chance to do a sweat lodge or kind of like sitting in a sauna that just
Yeah.
keeps
I did
getting
that
hotter.
before. Oh
Yeah.
my god, it'll burn you up.
And yeah, it burns you up. And then but if you can think about like something, ask God a question or just try to see what's going on, you'll be surprised what comes in your mind's eye.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's necessarily you're being very creative to do it. I think you're actually getting a message because
Yeah.
you're getting rid of the stuff that keeps us bound here to certain things like microphone stand. You're just becoming pure and you're allowing that to float to the wayside, and we're just having a conversation. That's where the cool part is. So I advise everybody to try it.
A quick question for you. This is something I've been hearing about a lot.
Sure.
Is that what you think where they're going with like like the mushroom, the micro dosing and stuff. Do you think that's what they're? I know they're trying to use it now to help people out, with mental,
It,
problems.
it it's working really really well because what it does is only you can help you.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to explain, and some people have because of all the outside influences. You need to be able to strip that away so you can talk to you and you can see what's going on. And the micro dosing again eliminates all the BS. You know,
Hmm.
like your kids need food, they need water, they need drinks, they need clothing, they need shoes, whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
you know all these things, but you can't get to it because you always we need you, and they keep talking to you. Why aren't we doing this? What are we? It gets rid of the, and then it allows you to focus in on and say you need food, you need water, you need this. Oh, by the way, you're going to have a health scare in this 3 weeks. You may want to start taking care of it now. It allows you to connect into it and then actually see for yourself where you're making your mistakes and own it without feeling guilty of owning it.
Yeah.
So I think the microdosing, that stuff is really important. Um, growing up, we all went to high school. I
Right.
dosed. Okay. I got to be honest. Shrooms are awesome if you got a good one. Mescaline was very very speedy, and we'll just leave it at that. Like on edge.
Hmm.
I don't do anything at this point.
Yeah.
But
Right. Right.
but if I were, I'd want to do DMT.
I've heard about
Because
that. Yeah.
yeah, because it's going to be very very quick and controlled in and out, and it's the most intense version of it. I mean, the stuff I've heard from people that have experienced it, it's just mind altering. It's life changing, but in a good way.
Yeah.
You know, and this is why again, why our whenever you had the indigenous people in this world that they would sit around the fire and talking to the chief and like, what's going on? Let's go consult the medicine man. What's going on? They were able to get into, I want to say, a Kosh record or whatever, and see what's going to take place. So you got to understand that when you get the information, when you get to that source, the source of information of everything and all, past, present, and future, it's all at once. Everything's happening right now at once, past, present, and future.
Hmm.
Okay, and the I think by using hallucinogenics, peyote buttons, down here in Florida, they licked frogs for a while.
Oh my God.
They squeezed frogs and licked them. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Right. Yeah.
I'm good right here. Um, so
Oh my
what
God,
you want
Al.
to do is when they went on these vision quests using these psychological psychedelics because it helped them to get rid of the crap and go and they were trained in this where they're not just like, oh, it's freaked out, man. They're focused in it. They're on a mission. They're doing something. It's kind of like the difference between, you know, if we set our kids up and you did a shot and I did a shot, your kids did a shot and, my kids did a shot. These kids never had liquor before. So by the time, you know, first of all, we'd all be arrested. But what would
Right.
happen is, yeah, what would happen is they would be like, oh, I feel crazy, but you would be able to handle yourself. It's through repetition. That's why when a shaman is there and you're approached by the shaman or you feel that your path is shamanism, you'd be trained by the shaman. It's the whole Padawan thing, the Star Wars type of thing. So when you go and you're taking the peyote button to get you to that point, you know what to expect, you know where you're going, and you're going to follow it, and you're going to be more consciousness of what's going on. That's why I think they do the microdosing right now.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important because reality sucks. I mean, I
Right.
love the kids and all, don't get me wrong, but the powers that be have screwed this reality for all of us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's why they're using that for the most part.
Yeah.
Mind speak. Good stuff.
Yeah,
so,
that. What do you call it? What you do when you the picture? I've seen you do it. I've tried to do it myself.
so I do something called remote viewing.
Yes, yeah, that's.
So what that enables me to do is I can go any place, anywhere I want, and I don't have to live the comfort of my home. um,
Hmm.
and I basically, using my mind's eye and my consciousness, I somehow connect to, I'm going to say, the source of information, and I'm able to go and see things. I can see it, I can smell it, I can touch it, I can taste it. I got caught a couple of times. That was a different story. It's not, it's not like you're a ghost and you'd be able to slip into a room. If someone has abilities to see you in that light, they will see you, and you're using your mind's eye to connect. So what I said to people is, I usually try to give an example. Okay.
Hmm.
So if I said the letter G, capital G, can you see it in your mind's eye? You know what it looks like, right? A G.
Yeah, yeah.
I said that the color purple. You can see purple, probably on a purple heart. My close.
Hmm.
Um, how about like sunflower yellow? You can see what a sunflower looks like.
Yeah, yeah,
Can you see the number 44? Can you see the number 23? You just know it. It's just in your head,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You've
yeah.
seen it before you know it, right?
Hmm.
That's how it works. What happens is the more you use it, the easier it becomes, because it's like a muscle. You're working out, and you're able to connect to these things. And so I've used it many times on investigations. I've used it, especially if I can't get to the investigation. I'll call Al up and I'm like, "You're going to see a blue tree. There's going to be a tree down. It's on the right hand side. You're going to see a blue flame that's going to pop up over your head." And every time I see something, boom, 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 100%.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, and then Mr. Wonderful over there, he was on an investigation. He had these two women and these two guys there, and I was doing something at home. I couldn't be there. I told him, I said, "There's one on the right side of the perimeter. You're going to see like there's a log that's down there. He's on the other side of the log, but he's keeping his distance. There's going to be a blue flame." And I told him about this, and so he must have told the people there. And they then he comes back to me. He goes, "They want to know what color they're thinking of." And I'm like, "I'm not Kreskin." That pissed me off. And but I answered it, because I told him, I said, "Well, there's two different colors here. One of these guys, there's women are thinking about the color chartreuse, or light green that swades into yellow, and these guys thinking of purple into, like a purplish blue." And he just laughed. He go, "How the hell did he know that?" I just pick it up. I just know it as if I know my own name. That's how it
Wow,
works for me. But the more you do these things, sorry for hitting the mic, the
that's
more you
okay.
do this, the easier it becomes. Like, I'll tell you what, I don't pry into your business whatsoever. I will not pry into your business. But whenever I meet people and they start telling a story, "Yeah, I was out with this chick and we went in the car and blah, blah, blah," I see it all playing in my head. It just
Hmm.
starts playing in my head. And when someone's full of shit, I know it.
Yeah, because you can like see
It
you see
doesn't
what's
play.
going on.
It doesn't play. When it's made up, I see them making it up. It's
Yeah,
not real. And you know what? I'm not here to call out anybody. I'll just
right.
go, "Oh, really?" And then I'll walk away and I won't, talk to them again about, I don't do that purposely. I don't, it
Yeah.
just, sometimes it happens. Like, the other day I was driving to the store to get something for my kids, because they wanted something at Target or whatever the hell the store is.
Uh-huh.
And I got this urge. Um, Someone I gave a reading to, somebody I know very well. He's a fraternal brother. I gave a reading to a couple of weeks ago. Everything popped in my head of him. He was stressed out. He's 5 o'clock shadow. Kind of like, not in a good spot. He wants to start this project to do something, but he doesn't know where to start. He's a little bit frustrated, and it's all coming out of my head. And without missing a beat, I contacted him and said, "Hey, you need to cut the crap, relax a minute. You need to start this project, and I'm going to give you the starting point." And I gave him a small paragraph of where he should start. And I said, "You need to get this done. I feel you. I'm feeling what's going on." And he called me back within 5 minutes, but I was shopping. I couldn't pick it up. He goes, "How did you know that?" I said, "You come for readings, dude." That's how I knew it. I was
Hmm.
picking up on you, because once I give somebody a reading, I don't just walk away from them, especially if they're friends. I'll go back and I've gone through on a couple of different times, just um oh I'll tell you about this in a second. I'll go back and reassess to make sure we're going where we're supposed to go. So what Al's talking about here about they catch me doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So Al goes and gets some kind of physical therapy from a beautiful um, Italian lovely lady in the physical therapist office. And she's into, Al's talking paranormal. She's into the paranormal. She wants to go and, be part of it. So Al's hooking that up, nothing wrong with eye candy too. Says she has abilities and she wants to do some paranormal investigating. Okay, that's great. But with our group, Bronxville Paranormal Society, Al's the founder of it. Al, from day one, has always had everybody read by our psychic Cindy out of Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot go on any investigation with us unless she gives you a reading. And she will tell us straight up, like, yeah, they're good to go. No, don't bring them. They're going to get themselves in a lot of trouble. They're going to cause a problem, because there's a safety factor for all of us involved in paranormal there.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, you got to be pretty damn careful. I mean, people can get hurt. It's not a joke. Everybody thinks it's a joke, but it's not a joke. So Cindy tries to read this girl and she won't let her. So she puts up these walls and we're like, no, we can't play this game.
Right.
If you're coming out with us, we have to know that we can count on you and you can count on us. So I tell him, I said, dude, I'm gonna go remote viewer and I'll let her know.
Mm-hmm.
And I remote view and it's really weird when I do this, and it took me a long while to figure this out. If there's an issue at a specific spot and I'm going to remote view that spot or that person, what happens is it takes me directly to the point of interest. And I'll say, oh, I want to walk around over here, blah, 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 blah. No, I know where I have to be, and that's where I am. So in this case, it takes me and puts me in a room. It's a bedroom. And she has a bed right in front of me, and it's one of those beds that has almost like a brass bed. And there's a big window. I mean, there's windows behind the bed, and there's a big mirror. One of those mirrors that are usually like you can kind of tilt back and forth.
Yeah. Mirror. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, I pop in, and there's this woman standing there in her underwear. Hell of a body. And she turns around and sees me. She goes, "Who the hell are you?" And I said, "Listen, we try to scan you for the Bronxville Paranormal. You can't block us. You're blocking our psychic. We can't have you block it." So she tries to throw down a wall. So I pushed the wall back up. And I said, "Listen, I'm not here to scare you or do anything. I'm telling you that if you want to go with our group, you have to be scanned." She tries to put another wall up, and I prevent that from happening. She literally caught me in that where I was. Now, mind you, I was doing it from the Bronx. She was upstate New York. She caught me. She's like, "Who the hell are you?" Because Al never mentioned me to her. And
oh wow.
Well, after that incident, Al never heard back from her. She wouldn't. She didn't have nothing to say to me. She wouldn't do anything with that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you can get caught. Like I said, Becky had an NDE. Ooh,
I don't know what that is.
Near death experience.
Oh, okay. Duh.
Yes, it is. It's going to be a lot thinner for you now. It's a twofold thing because most people that have NDEs, near death experiences, they die, but they come back to life. They have a problem because it's so good over there, what heaven really is, that it sucks being back here. And they're always trying to get back to it. And it's no disrespect to anybody, but, it's really tough. I mean, like, imagine every worry that you have in the world disappears instantaneously, and all you feel is love and happiness. That's what death is. Yeah. Okay?
Wow.
You have this, now you're brought back. Now you're hurt because you have to go through whatever the freaking recovery is. You have bills up the ass. life's not that good anymore, so you start getting depressed. But a lot of people that have near-death experiences, kind of sort of like astral projection, Linda, but not. Astral projection I always saw as like an image, like a hologram. Whereas remote viewing, you can physically touch stuff and go into things. It's a lot more personal.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, but with the near death experiences, because you died and you went back, you got a little taste of what you can kind of do.
Mm-hmm.
So you pick up some things, and things are a lot thinner. Yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of you see things that you couldn't see before. Kind of like
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what Becky's saying here. Oh Lord, thank you. Sometimes I think I'm going crazy. Yeah. I'll tell you what, when you do these things, you start developing your own sixth senses and all these abilities. You can ask Al, he's in chat. He'll tell you, I tell him all the time, dude, I think I'm going, am I going crazy? Because it's so crazy. It doesn't logically make sense for me because I'm not that I'm a huge science guy. I am, but it's like, it shouldn't be. Bigfoot should not be in front of me right now. This
right.
is, what the heck's going on? So it gets unnerving. And then when you start hearing things, when you think you go crazy, a lot of the stuff that the people who've had these abilities and they're hearing voices and stuff, they're actually hearing voices. It's not demons, it's just the dead. They have abilities and they're trying to get rid of these abilities or whatever, or deny them. You can't deny that you ability. You can't deny the fact, like if you're a black man and you're black, you can't deny it. You can't deny
Right.
white. You can't deny, pick something else you're trying to deny.
Right.
You can't deny it. It is what it is. And it sucks because if you don't have any coping mechanisms of it, people will think you're crazy. And then you'll start telling them things. Great example. I'm going to give you a great example of this. I live with a skeptic, big freaking skeptic. Although she's seen stuff that it would make your head spin. And so a couple of years ago, I don't get to watch TV, but for one moment, I'm sitting on my couch during the day before the kids come to school, and I'm watching whatever, something. Yeah. And my wife's talking to me about one of her friends. She works at the summer camp, and the friend's daughter is also there. They've known this kid for years. She has headaches, and she's having an issue and problem. And I'm looking at the TV set, and I said, "Oh, she has MS." And my wife said, "No, they've checked for MS." And I'm like, okay. And I just keep watching my show, right? Fast forward a month later. Again, have a moment to actually sit there during the summer because, she got back early from the job in camp. And she goes, as I'm watching, I'm watching like, I don't know, like a Planet of the Apes movie or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm trying to lose my mind for 2 minutes, of my life. She goes, how'd you know that? And I'm like, how did I know what? As I'm watching, she goes, how did you know that? So think about this context. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're coming up to me and saying, how did you know that? I don't know what that is, when that took place, or whatever. What are you talking about? And she goes, how did you know that? And we're back and forth. I said, listen, I don't know what you're talking about. You come up to me and said you asked me something. What are you talking about? What is that you're talking about? She goes, how did you know she had MS? And without missing a beat, I look right at her and I go, if I told you, you wouldn't believe me. She had MS.
Wow.
Boom, spot on. Matter of fact, our psyche was having an issue, Cindy, and I asked if I can, help her out. I'd like to do healings. I like to heal as many people as I can. I think that's an ability, and I try to do it the best. So as I was going in there and I was healing her, and I have a certain process to do it, I noticed that she had an area over by her neck that was a problem. So the next day I called her up. I said, you have a thyroid problem, don't you? And I said, she goes, what are you talking about? I said, well, your problem is this. It's in your thyroid, your neck. You got to go get that checked out. She goes, how the hell did you know that? I said, you're the one that trained me. She's the one that I explored my abilities with initially. I never told anybody about my thyroid. Yeah, I do have a problem with my thyroid. Said,
wow.
Right now, I can see it.
Wow.
And I was trying every which way I could think of to try to heal that and clear it out. And I said, it's clearable, but I can't do it on my own. You need to go to the doctor and get. He did. He did. So that was the cool part.
Wow. Hey, Ellie.
There we go.
She's rattling.
No, it's that time of night, man.
Right. She just ate
Yep.
dinner. I figure she'd be tired.
Yeah, clear audience. Yep, clear audience. But that's the stuff where you get to hear people's voices, and it happens a lot for me now. I had a conversation with my uncle when he died. I was able to talk to him. I knew his parents came to pick him up. His mother was definitely there. I don't know if his father was there. Somebody other relative was there, and I got bits and pieces from it. When I'm too close to something, it's a little bit more difficult. And then I had another person who's really good at this tell me, he says you're right, and you need to get to Florida. What are you waiting for? You've been right about the whole thing. And I said, thank you. And I walked away, So I love helping out as many people as possible.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Al put it in there. Bryan and I are light bearers. You damn straight we are. He denies it a lot, but he has this, but it's also like what Al and I do is we're so used to questioning everything because we want to make sure we're getting it right. We don't want to pass off as BS. Look, I didn't do readings. I'll do stuff for Al and I, we'll do certain things.
Yeah.
I didn't want to come off as a Miss Cleo. Right. But the psychic that one of the greatest psychics I've ever met in my life, she's fantastic. Katie Turner. And I did an interview with her, and she said you really need to do more readings. She kind of gave me a little bit of a reading on the show. It was the first time I actually talked to her. And I asked the same questions, just so you know, people. I asked the same questions of every psychic. What are the Powerball and Mega Ball million numbers? I want to know what the Powerball and Mega Ball is. All those numbers. And I asked them, who are my guardian angels and why do they drink? And I said this to Katie, and she just spit up. And she told me you have an English guardian spirit guide or something like that, and he's small. And I said, oh, bloody good. But she said you need to do readings. And I said, well, I don't want to come up as Miss Cleo, but because of her, I do readings now. I haven't put up my full shingle yet, but I do readings. And I do a lot of free readings and I do a lot of charge readings. I'm not going to be a millionaire from it. And if I'm not happy with the reading afterwards, I will give you another reading to follow. And I'll tell them, listen, I'm not really happy with this. And I've done this numerous times. People are like, dude, I'm like, you don't have to pay me. I just don't feel comfortable. I need to give you more stuff, and I know it's not coming out right now. So, yeah. So, but I do readings. And I wish Al's talking in the chat about so I always joke around with Al because Al's wife has him eating what is it, plant-based stuff. Plant-based products and whatever. And every time he doesn't feel well, my head hurts. I'm like, it's because of the plant-based products, buddy. You
need some food. Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna go with the don't ask, don't tell, because if you keep eating that plant-based stuff, you're gonna grow a vagina. So we joke around, but Al and I coming from the city and stuff, we remember like Italian sandwiches, like bread that is just
I can imagine
whatever with the seeds and the whole thing. So I posted a video this guy made of an Italian sandwich. I shit you not, it's got to be at least 4 feet long and about like 6 inches wide or more. And he's putting gabagool on it, ham, pepperoni. So I mean, it's just. And I wrote, "The hell with your plant-based products, Santa Riga," and I sent it to him. Whatever. So everybody was enjoying it. The hell with that. Al's sister and his mother They're all gifted. He has an aunt, I believe it was. It's a white witch in his family. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there there's a long lineup of people that have abilities.
Yeah.
Mel didn't tell me anything to it, but his sister goes, Brian's got to be careful. I have a feeling he's going to have a heart attack. I had this vision that he has a heart attack. Al never told me about it, and this was like a week before or whatever.
Uh
Didn't
huh.
say a fucking word about it, and the next thing you know, I'm having a heart attack.
Oh,
You know,
Jesus Christ.
so I mean, so what I did was I contacted Al's sister and I go, hey, next time you have a premonition about something like this, you may want to let me know. Here's my phone number. Just call me up. Give me a heads up.
Wow.
'Cause I didn't plan this on my bingo card.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that was the least of the things, I wanted to deal with on my bingo card. But
Yeah.
hey, I've warned numerous people out of the blue, and let me tell you, folks, I get shit for it. But if I will do my best to warn you if something's coming your way, and I don't play it. And I've warned, and one guy I warned about, I said, how you doing? I really need you to go take a look at your heart. Go to the doctor and have your heart checked. And one of my buddies came back, hey, bro, if this is a joke, this is really not a funny joke. And I'm like, dude, I'm not joking. And it's certain people you can't explain what you can do. I'm like, please get yourself checked out. And come to find out, I haven't talked to this guy in a year plus, and he's having a heart problem. And he goes, well, it's funny. I just gave him the doctor, and it's a heart problem. I said, I didn't know you had that. So, and it comes in different stages. It's not just, boom, it appears. And, the thought, the idea, the concept's in my head. And then I said, I got to contact somebody. I'll give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm part of a very, 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 very old fraternal organization that's global. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We have
Yeah.
brothers. And I'm also a Knights Templar, a real Knights Templar, not like, the fake crap. But I had this, it was an experience. It's not a dream. It's an experience. It happened at night. And a lot of times it happens. Now I'll explain to you the difference between an experience and a dream.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to sleep and everything falls to the wayside and you're closest to the veil, you're trying to connect your brain, body, mind to the source where information is coming, and you have the ability to do that. Some people have it; they have these dreams. It's a dream where you're like, I think we were in a car, but it may have been purple. I don't know. And then I think someone was riding a goldfish. It just doesn't make sense, and you don't know the details. And then you have what they call an experience. And that's when you can go detail by detail by detail by detail in order. You're not dreaming that. It seems like it's a dream, but you're actually experiencing it. And you're experiencing it on one of the timelines or that border around us. So I had this experience where I walked in and I knew that my buddy had a heart attack. There was something major league going on with him. I walked into his son's store, like a bar / record store. It was in Connecticut. And I was talking to his daughter-in-law, who I've never met before in my life. I said, how's he doing? He goes, oh, he's doing much better now. And I knew his son was there. He's okay. Yeah, he's okay. He's on the road to recovery. I'm like, great, because we were all worried. That was it. And the next day I was seeing him at my lodge, and I pulled him aside and I said, I need to talk to you right now. It's like, okay, no problem. Now he's a couple years older than me, and he almost like a retiree. So he does crossing guard stuff because you can't stop this guy from talking. He's English. You can't. It's not the Illuminati, Al. Trust me. I've checked my bank account. It's fucking not the Illuminati. I wish he was. Okay, it was like 17 zeros to the left of the decimal point, but it's not.
Right.
So I pull him aside and I said, "Listen, I know you're going to think I'm crazy, but I need you to go get your heart checked out. I need you to go to the doctor now and go get your stuff checked out. Do not wait." And I explained to him everything. I said, I described the woman I saw, and I described the man I was talking to, and I said, I think that this is your daughter-in-law, and that was your son. He goes, "You described both of them to a T, and you've never seen them." I said, "You need to keep this in mind. I'm begging you, just go make an appointment. Go the next day. Go 2 days from now, whatever it is." It was a Friday, so go on Monday. Go get this checked out, please. So he goes, he wasn't just humoring me. He took it all in consideration. He said, "No problem, bro. Whatever." Fast forward, it was like he didn't go to the doctor either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of the next week, or a week after that. I forgot which date it was. He's doing the crossing guard duty over there. Somebody blows a red light, so it's going to kill this kid. So he ran forward and gets the kid out of the way, almost getting hit. Him and the kid getting hit by this car,
Oh wow.
and that saves the kid's life. And gets up and is not feeling very well. He gets back home and he goes, "I don't feel well. You need to take me to the hospital." He blew a stent in his heart.
Oh no.
He would have died had he not taken care of it. And he says, as soon as I felt that in my chest, I literally went and I told her, "Get me to the hospital." And I never told her about it, but he was spot on about the whole thing.
Wow.
And yeah. So
That's crazy.
if I call you out of the blue or I post something and I'm telling you, don't go there, don't do that.
Don't do it. Yeah.
You know what? I mean, I would heed my advice. I don't pat myself on the back. I'm not looking for fame, fortune, or whatever. My whole thing is I'm actually happy when someone else does good. I'm happy when other people win lotteries. I mean, I'd like to win it just as much as you. But geez Louise, that would be great. That's what we try to do, all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I have dreams sometimes, and I can remember it. Is that the same thing, like, or
when you
can
really remember these dreams, it's an experience.
Really?
We don't remember dreams. We remember experiences. When you go on a vacation and you see the blue waters of Hawaii and you hear the waves, you can still hear them in your head. That's an experience because you were there doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, but when you talk about a snake with a vest going through a donut, kind of what's the shots of the donut, or is there any, that's just a dream. It's just your brain, just not connecting to anything. It's just giving you a moment to have a moment.
Yeah.
I mean, I've written down a ton of different experiences I've had at night. One of which involved actually the name of what I named it was Saving the Savior. And I actually helped save what appeared to be Jesus Christ.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was to say it was lack of a better words, Chris. It was a religious experience, but
I would say.
I mean, I remember all the detail. I remember the stone, the buildings, the way they were built, very biblical. There was a dark alley. The moon was up. There was like torch light. I heard these Roman. I knew it was Roman soldiers screaming at him. I didn't know it was Jesus at the time. They were drowning somebody in a clay tub, and they're drowning. Whoa. Tell us! And I went in there, and I snuck in. I knew this was wrong, and I took one of the spears that was resting on the wall. I stabbed one of them. This is wrong. The other guy, I went after the other guy. He ran out and ran backwards, and then floating in the tub, face down with the hair on top of the water and like a whitish tunic. I went over and I grabbed it and I pulled the person up, and I could still see it, the breathing of the air in and the hair over. I'm like, "Are you okay? This is wrong." And I'm staring right back at me with like puppy dog eyes, like when your child gets really, really sick and they just look at you like, "Thanks, Dad," that type of eyes. And it was Jesus Christ, 100%. I said, "This is wrong," and all he said was, "Thank you." Like, "Thank you." That was it. This is wrong. And that's how it ended. I mean, but I could, if I use my artist skills, I could draw the room for you. I can see all the details of the stairs and where the tub was. And the different layers on the Roman soldiers, call them skirts or whatever the hell they were wearing.
Uh-huh.
That's not That's not a dream. I'm not dreaming. That is an actual experience. When it took place, what timeline, what time, I don't know. But this is
Wow.
prior to me learning anything that I get to do and what I'm able to do. And I use it. I'm still using it.
Wow.
So
That, that blows
I
my
just
mind. I mean, that's crazy. That's awesome. I mean, in a way.
look, from the beginning, when I think we're destined to meet certain people. Al and I have been destined to meet. We're brothers from a different mother. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we probably get we probably have gotten on each other's nerves here and there, and like that mother, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, it's bullshit. That's Al. All the time. I'm not buying it. Call him bullshit. But I mean, through thick and thin, we've been. Look, if I'm in the woods, I know that boy's got my back, and he knows I
Right.
got his back, and I know me when I have to be. But we always have tried to help as many people out as possible, and there's been a couple of our conflicts between us. Like Al's trying to, dude, you can't save the freaking world all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and some people aren't savable, and it
Right.
sucks, but it's the truth. The hardest thing in the world is not being able to help somebody. It really is.
Yeah.
There's so many evil people in this world, but I like actually helping people. I want to make sure people are happy.
Yeah.
I'd want it. I'd want it, right? Wouldn't you want someone to like, here's $1,000.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So what's wrong with wanting some good things to happen to other people?
Yeah. If we all thought that way, the world would be much better, wouldn't it?
I think if we played video games, listened to good music, possibly smoked weed, the planet would be a whole lot better.
Right. I understand.
Yeah. We're gonna fire the jets? No, dude, we're gonna fire up a bong, and then the whole thing is gonna be resolved right now.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yep. Free will get in the way. And something, let me tell you something, talking about free will and whatever. I've given readings to people, and I like I said, I kind of go back and see where we are in the readings, because if I have to get more information, I give them the freebies, all the time. It's not about money for me. I'd love to make money, but it's not. I've noticed that ever since they started playing around even more and more with CERN, it's messed up our timeline. So things are off by chunks. Like A, B, and C is supposed to happen now. It's off by 3 months because they were playing around with CERN.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
CERN's the worst thing that could ever happen.
Yeah. So, but I keep checking back and forth. I'm just looking at Al Bundy right there. But what I do is when I give a reading to somebody, I had a guy contact me about this girl. I said, I don't want to know any information. You just don't tell me your name, whatever. And I saw her and in her hair and whatever. And I said, ooh, I knew the situation, what was going on. And he, he missed her and he wanted to be back. And I said, look, this is very possible. This is how it's going to kind of transcribe and come out. Sorry, if you don't have a mustache, you won't understand the fact of one hair that sticks up over here. Chris, the ones. And
I know what you're talking about
right now, and you're like, "Damn it, I wish I had."
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm talking about? I need like, yeah. I'm not doing coke. I'm just trying to get this one freaking hair out of my nostril right now. But I told him, I told him how it's going to transpire. I said, but you got to understand something here. You can't sit back on your ass and expect it to happen. You have to go about your life. See, the future is fluid. And if you do not go about your life right now, like you normally would, it's not going to happen this way. And it could be other, changes to it. And I knew this guy wasn't, and I said it 4 times to this guy, because I knew he was going to be a prick about this. And he was, yeah, it's right. I'm going to go on. He thought he was going to sit back on his ass and get it done. He sat back and it didn't work. And he said, well, you kind of lied to me. I'm like, no, I didn't. You sat on, because I told him straight up, I said, remember the time you were invited out to this, and that? He goes, how'd you know that? I said, well, I know a lot about it. You said no because you thought you were going to find this girl over here. You needed to go to that, this, and that. Don't blame that shit on me.
Right.
Okay. Future is fluid. Live your life, do that stuff, and things will happen. That's how it is. timelines have definitely changed and intermingled, and it's crazy. Hey, Carson.
I like Carson. I just met him not long ago. He's really nice.
I mean, there's some really great people in this chat. I'm trying to catch all of it.
I know it's hard.
So, but
I
yeah.
know I miss people, but I'm trying to listen to you.
Oh, I hear you. Just
it's hard. One person trying to do this.
I'm getting a little page on the other half of me that's like, your daughter wants you to say good night.
Well, I hear you.
I said, and I'm like, I'll be off in a
Hey, whenever you need to go, Brian, I hear you.
Yeah, no, we're good. I mean, anything else if you guys want, just let me know. If you have questions, look, I'm on Facebook, right? Unless I'm getting booted because I'm pro America.
Right.
Yeah, you wanted to talk about banking, that's going to kill you. But here's my advice to everybody. Okay. And I know it's tight for everybody, so just hear with me. APEMX, I believe it is, or APMEX. It's an exchange for precious metals. Go buy yourself silver. Or U.S. Gold Bureau. Go buy yourself silver. Go buy it now. Go buy fractionals, 1/10 of an ounce, 1/4 of an ounce. Because
Really?
that thing is never going to go bad, and you'll have money to buy food and shelter and whatever. But I don't trust the banking system. I was in it for 20 plus years. Basically rigged. Not for us, for the big boys. And I just, I pray it doesn't work out the way it is, but I just don't have a good feeling about it. But then again, we're all being the same damn boat.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I would invest in silver and brass. And if you understand the brass comment, you know what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh. Now, you put a video one I found interesting this morning, real quick. the CDC trailers.
Yes.
That was freaky. I mean, the way they were set up.
So here, I got to do this very gingerly with you because I don't want to get screwed. I don't want you to get screwed, and I don't want anybody else to get screwed. The government agencies do training all the time. The last time they did a major training on some kind of virus, we had something 2.5 years ago.
Right.
It was supposed to be a training.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, got a twitch. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good night, folks. Brian never shuts up. Kiss my ass, Al. No. So basically, what people are reporting these trucks in different parts of the country. Now, it could be a training, but why? And why isn't it being reported? Because normally when they're doing something like this, they'll report it. So what I fear about this is the powers that be are going to release something else in the environment where they're going to need the CDC involved. And at this point in time, it's my 2 cents. Love my country. Don't trust my government.
Exactly.
Okay.
I feel the same way.
Yeah. And I knew years before, 20 years ago, I read the Malone papers on an stuff. And I thought, wow, this is the magic bullet. It's going to be great. And what ended up happening is it killed everything, and really horribly. And we're in for we're in for more death. There are going to be people dropping like flies. Cancer is going to go through the roof.
Wow.
And what we have here is a battle between good and evil. It's the purest battle between good and evil. And I think what you're going to see also is for those people that are the apocalyptic kind of people and the King James Bible, Jesus and whatever, it's the end times. Okay, first of all, it has to play out in a certain way. It has to go the way God has put it forward, and there are certain tick marks. Okay, we're getting close to that time. I think you're going to see in anywhere from 6 months to 18 months, you're going to see the nation of Israel being invaded from the north by Iran, Syria, and possibly a couple other nations, including
Yeah.
Russia. And at that point, God's going to support the nation of Israel, and it's one of the prophecies of Revelation, what has to take place. And if that starts taking place, we're really getting closer and closer to the point where end of the world will happen. But the plus side is, if you're in the kingdom of the Lord, it's glorious. So, amen. You know,
Right. Amen. Yeah.
or anything like that. But I'd like to be able to see my kids grow up, have kids, you know, get married, you know, have kids. I get to chase at least one boyfriend around with the shotgun.
Right.
Let me hear your squeal, boy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just joking around.
Shit.
But yeah,
I'm there with you. I just have this bad feeling that something bad's about to happen. I mean,
you know what?
This country is not what it used to be. I mean, even me growing up, you know.
No, and I think you got to put your faith in. I put my faith in the Lord. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what, I did a remote view. The last 3 years, I did a remote view, and some things popped up, and it just changed. Little nuances changed, but it was still there. And I see a time it's coming. I see it coming. There will not be one person in this country, American citizen, that does not have a rifle over their shoulder 24/7.
I believe that.
I mean, I saw this vision, and I saw all these people laughing and going to concerts and hanging out and doing things. They have rifles over their shoulders, and they're all armed. And I'm like, oh, this is probably Israel, right? Because that's where I've seen it before. Nope, USA. It's going to be totally different. People are going to wake up. People are going to put people on notice. They're going to take back this country, and they're going to prove it by saying, we're not going through this crap ever again. If you try to pull anything, we'll just kill you right now. We're not going to allow it to take hold or whatever. And that's what's going to happen. That's the best way that's the ultimate diplomacy. You know, it's like everybody has a nuke, so no one wants to use the nuke because everybody has the nuke. Same principle concept, but now it's like we the people saying, we're not believing any of your shit. You work for us. And if you don't like it, we'll just take you out.
Mm-hmm.
And making them give them the fear of God. Yet sheep versus goats. Lions versus zombies. But yeah, I'm gonna probably jet right now before I get yelled at some more.
I hear you. I'll have to get you back on again.
Anytime, brother. Anytime.
I want to get into the UFOs.
Yeah, no, we can talk about UFOs. I had a couple of good experiences, you know, broadcasting with Al. So, yeah.
Right.
You can get us both on. You got a couple hours.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys if, like, both of you come on at one time.
Well, ask Mr. Wonderful in there. Mr. Skin Fluid. Ask Mr. Skin Fluid if he wants to come on.
Mr. Skin Fluid.
He's going to so kill me, Chris. It's classic. Before I go, so what I do is I take Al and I put him in different pictures. So I put his face on a leprechaun.
I've seen that. I've seen that on there.
And then I put it up on his page in Facebook. I'm like, top of the morning to you, Santa Riga. And he replied back, I'm see you feeling better. I didn't wear it. I put his mug on his t-shirt, like a shirt. Mm-hmm. I made a plush doll, the Al doll. And I gave it to him and I pulled up and he comes and goes, what the hell is that? He goes, that's little Al. And he goes, it's not. I said, I told you it was. So my youngest wants Uncle Al sneakers, and I said, nah, we're probably gonna go with the Uncle Al condom next. You're gonna kill me.
Oh, you guys! Yeah. I bet you're a hoot to be around.
Yeah, he's gonna kill me. But look, I keep it fun. Gotta have some fun, keeping it real at the same time. But you guys have I was trying to read along with you guys, and I appreciate you being in the show. Posting what you're posting, and if you guys have any questions, hit me up on Facebook to say, hey, I saw Chris's show, you know, I have a question about this or that, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. You know,
how else can they? Is there any other way to get a hold of you but Facebook?
Yeah, I have a link tree. I mean, like I'm on Bronxville Paranormal Society. It's all our sites. New York State UFO Project, New York State Sasquatch.org, New York State Dogman Project. I have BryanBowden.com, and I spell Brian with a Y, or Bowden, BryanBowden.com if you'd like, if you're down south. How
Okay.
y'all I have a bunch of different things. But Facebook's the easiest way to get in touch with me. I'm working on my website, and I have a link tree. I'm going to try to put it up there, but I'm just available. I'm very approachable. I don't bite unless you want me to. I know what you look like, and my wife won't kill me. But yeah, that's it. You can always contact me, or if you need to get in contact with me and you know Al, just have Al hook. Say Al, I want to ask you, buddy, something, whatever, and vice versa. And if you want to see me, what I do, and I'm thankful that people have recognized and we've done some stuff. I have been on TV. I'm trying to get on 2 shows right now because
That'd be awesome.
I think I would really do well on them, and I'm not going to discuss what shows. But
Mm-hmm.
let's go to Discovery Plus and look for Aliens, and you'll find me. UFO Witness 2, season 2. You
I'll
find
have to go
Al.
check it out.
Yeah, if you go to Alien Invasion Hudson Valley, you'll see Al and myself on there. And I did some stuff out of Canada, and we did a couple of films. So it's just nice when they recognize that you are, got abilities, and you've been doing this a long enough. It's nice to get recognized for it. Other than that, you're not getting rich from it. I'm not a para celebrity, although I do one on TV. But I can't thank you enough for having me on, Chris. I do appreciate it. Thanks for bearing with me while I was having a widowmaker.
It worried me. I was like, oh no, I can't believe that just happened, because I seen you on TV. It was like a couple of days before that. You was on Three Beards, right? Right before.
Yeah, those guys over Three Beards. If you want to catch it every Wednesday at 8, these guys are great. They invited me, and you know what? This is my philosophy. Not everybody. Some people come into this and they're on a TV show or whatever. They think like, well, I'm better than you. Anybody that asks me to be on the TV show, if I can make it on your show, I'll be on your show. I find it an honor to be asked, and I'm going to do everything in my power to give you, a fun and entertaining interview. Al knows I'm very entertaining. And I think it's an honor. You can't have this arrogance about yourself, and I don't. I'm a clown, and but I'm serious. I'm a clown. I mean, like literally, my kids know this already. But I can be very serious, and I'm going to give you just as much respect, and I'll do your show. And I can't believe, I'm very thankful for it.
I appreciate it. I've been trying to get more people to go watch Three Beards. You guys had that guy last night, Andy, that got that book. Oh,
that's
my
a buddy
God,
of mine out of the UK. I'm going to hook you up with
Andy, awesome. Okay? Yeah. I like to get Andy on the show because, man, he is like all that knowledge from over there. He's awesome, and he's funny, and
he's fantastic. He's also a musician, but that's a different story. But he's a great guy. I'll hook you up. What I'll do is I'll do the messenger thing in the back end, and we'll hook you up on that one. But Andy's a great guy in research. I got to get him over here because I want to take him to a couple of spots where I'm kind of going to guarantee him some kind of encounter that he's been itching for.
Right.
Right. It's. They don't, it's weird over in the UK. They have these things and they do appear, but unless you're there at the right time, but it's still suspect. It's like, well, I didn't have that encounter. I just was here. Well, we can bring you to a couple of places, and there's a pretty good idea you're going to have an encounter with a creature.
Yeah.
Like you're going to see it and you're going to be like, oh my God, get me out of here now.
Right.
Yes. But I'll hook you up with Andy, and everybody in chat. You have a blessed night. All you, Becky, Janelle, Camping with Sasquatch, Linda, everybody. I thank you very much, and all those guys. But Three Beards, they asked me on to be a co-host, and I took them up on it. And it's their show, and I sit back a little bit, but I'm going to get them as many people there. So that's what you do.
I like to get them on too one day. Get you all
three
on it.
Oh, they would, get them on. We'll hook that up too. We'll hook you up, Chris.
Yeah, because you guys talk about different stuff. That's what I like. It's not always cryptid. It's not always paranormal. You guys mix it up. Over there.
I had a show. We started a show. I have a couple podcasts, but I did one with Ron Murphy, and we haven't done one in a while called Inside the Goblin Universe. That's how you can find us on most podcasts. It's called Inside the Goblin Universe. Great shows there. And then I did my
Okay.
own show a couple of times. I called it Nobo Boomy, Nobobume, which stand for nobody but me. So it's not just like one was more paranormal based. The other one was like, you know what? I want to talk about music on this show. So I did a
Right.
show with a guy out of Florida, and Al was on there, and my other buddy about music. And the premise was, did Robert Johnson sell his soul at the crossroads for real? But
Right.
the problem is, we had a mutual friend of my friend Dave and Stevie's on Hyatt Finley, who's a great guy. But Hyatt used to be the tour manager of Faith Hill, Tim McGraw.
Mm-hmm.
So he started spitting out stuff, started talking about Dave Mustaine, and he just couldn't stop. I was like, oh my God, this is a legendary show. So I like other things. I like to talk about art, like music.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, what makes moonshine good? You know,
Yeah.
Life isn't always about cryptids. This
Right.
is, yeah. So, but I'll definitely talk to Craig about getting, he'll come on your show. That'd be great.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Chris, I don't know about Austin, but we'll get him. But
Yeah.
thank you again.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks everybody for being on the show tonight and in the chat and watching us. Thank Bryan for. It was an honor for him to be on. I've been waiting for him.
I appreciate it, and I like I said before, I appreciate being asked on. And anytime you want, man, I'm there.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you and Al both
My
on here at
water.
the same time. Yeah, we'll work something out. You get you and Al
Sure.
both on the same time. But
yeah,
I gotta let Bryan off here before he gets in trouble. I know, I've been there.
Yeah, it's it's tough, especially when it's your little one and they just want a little bit of dad there.
Yeah, dad time.
I'm good with that. So,
All right.
Thanks again, buddy. You do
Okay,
well.
you all have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.